Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our exciting online event on microlearning for maximum impact training in the flow of work. My name is Kiran Sharma, and I'm delighted to be your host today. We have a fantastic lineup of speakers and a moderator who will guide us through an insightful discussion how microlearning is reshaping workforce development, making learning even more agile, engaging, and embedded in everyday work. So, as we all know, microlearning is transforming the workforce development today by aligning learning with the pace that demands of the modern workplace. Traditional programs, which are taken in training, often require employees to step away from their work for extended periods, making it difficult to retain knowledge and apply it effectively. In contrast, microlearning delivers focused, bite sized learning experiences that can be consumed in minutes, enabling employees to learn continuously without disrupting productivity. So, this was just a small heads up from my end, but to throw more light on this, we have with us today our moderator, Mr. Iqbal Singh. Iqbal Singh is a seasoned L&D professional with over 20 years of experience, currently leading learning and development at Cafe Coffee Day. Known for combining instructional design, leadership development, LMS, LXP platforms, and AI driven learning tools. He has worked with leading brands and is recognized for creating scalable, future ready learning experiences. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Iqbal Singh.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kiran.
My pleasure, Iqbal. So, moving ahead, our first speaker today is Dr. Rajni Gaur. Dr. Rajni Gaur is an experienced L&D leader with over 26 years of experience across education, pharmaceuticals, health, and wellness. Currently, she is the head technical skills L&D at VLCC Limited. She has spent more than 2 decades building people capability and supporting professional growth through training and upskilling. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Rajni Gaur. Okay, so next in the line, we have Abdul Mattu with us. So Abdul Hai Mattu is Corporate Vice President and Head of Training Access at Access Max Life Insurance, leading capability building across a large bank assurance ecosystem of over 40,000 professionals. With more than 20 years of experience, he specializes in sales transformation, leadership development, digital learning, and turning capability into measurable business performances. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Abdul Hai Mattu.
Thank you.
So I welcome all my speakers, and I am damn sure we are going to have an incredible session ahead, which is filled up with innovative ideas and forward-thinking discussions. And without any further ado, I'll hand it over to our moderator, Mr. Iqbal Singh, to kick off the session. Great to have you all online. Let's enjoy this enlightening event together. Over to you, Iqbal.
Thank you so much, Kiran, once again. So, welcome to the discussion, all the users and all the people who have logged in today. And welcome to this panel discussion, Dr. Rajani Gaur and Abdul Mattu. So, guys, as we all know that, micro learning, bite-sized learning, just-in-time learning, these are not just the buzzwords these days. They have become the integral part of our learning journey. And especially after COVID, we have seen that there is a faster evolution of tech and skills are expiring faster than ever. And because of our different requirements and generation of new jobs, especially a lot of people who have, who are working in the gig workforce zone, they have different learning requirements because of their remote and hybrid working needs. So teams have different behaviors today, right? They need quick answers like Google search does, right? And they need on-demand support, right? Gone are the days when we used to have traditional classroom sessions where we would call the users and have a full day or maybe 2, 3 days of training. I remember when I started my career, we used to have a 2 months induction as well. So I believe nobody can expect that longer these days. And also, I think I really love this word called just-in-time learning, right? So if you are having a training for 2 months, there may be a lot of things which you may not require at the first day of your work as well. Maybe they require after 6 months, but those things used to get covered in those 2 months of training itself because people used to think that okay, let's finish it in a single go, right? Because of the changing needs and requirement of our learning, we preferred learning in this way that is bite-sized or micro-learning, right? Gone are the days when a single training session would suit everybody. As we say that, one size fits for all. Those are gone days, right? It's past. Nowadays, people need quick learning, and micro-learning has been very helpful, enabling learning in all the users who actually require learning in remote and hybrid environment. And because of the evolution of I know that creating or generating such kind of content has become very easy. But when it comes to measuring the effectiveness and driving the behavioral change of these learnings, then where this is where the main challenge is there in the industry today. So to unfold all these questions, we have our wonderful panelists today, Dr. Rajani Gaur and Mr. Abdul Mattu. So I would like to start the session with my first question, which is for Abdul. So, Abdul, the question is, how has employee learning behavior changed in today's fast-paced digital work environment?
Right. So good afternoon, everyone, and thanks, Iqbal, and for inviting me here. Before I answer that, we should also understand what is currently changing in the learning ecosystem or the learners. What is changing? The first one is that actually the change at the workplace is happening at a very, very fast pace. And you were talking about 2 month induction programs that we used to attend once upon a time. Nowadays, within 2 months, so much of things become change that many of the things which are going to be covered in a 2 month induction program may become irrelevant. So change is becoming really fast. And as a result, because there's a frequent change, there's a frequent need of making people learn about those changes. So the learning gap between the gap between learning and applying is getting shortened. So whatever I learn, I have to immediately apply. Or while I'm applying or I'm at the workflow, I may need to learn few things during that time. I may not have the luxury of moving out and take time out for learning. People are also these days overloaded with a lot of information. It's whether we say social media or now AI, there's an overload of information, and how much of it can be consumed, there's a limit to it. And that's why many of the training programs, the learners find it very difficult to comprehend and understand. First is they want to know the relevance, and relevance plays a very, very important role. And today, the learning strategy is part of the business strategy overall everywhere. And but one thing is very clear: learning cannot disrupt my daily routine work. I can't every time for every bit of learning take out people out for training or learning to make them understand and then get them back to work. So it's changing. So learning has to be enabling performance, because now employee behavior has shifted towards that. By attending this learning program, how would I be able to solve a business problem? They are looking for it, and that is the primary change. Is now employees do not want to go through a learning curriculum. They are more keen towards solving business problems, and they don't want a formal learning. They are more interested in continuous learning. And I think while the micro learning provides a very, very important role there. And these days, now learning is not limited to classrooms only, or the learning platforms only. People learn from AI, people learn from colleagues, social media, search engines, and their own field work experiences. They learn from everywhere. And I think the conventional method of that people will only learn in a classroom is over. The learning is available, and the kind of learners which we have in the learning programs are well informed. They have access to knowledge. They want that, okay, this learning program, how does it help me to solve for the real business problem? I think the learning behavior has changed in terms of attending the learning program to finding a business problem solution. It's more towards that. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So I hope that our users would have got the correct, answer to this question as well. As you rightly said that, learning cannot be separately aligned, or maybe, it can be a separate activity. It has to be a daily routine of our work that you learn something and you get back to work. So my next question on the same note is for Dr. Rajani Gaur. So, Dr. Rajani, the next question is, how can organizations ensure learning happens naturally within daily workflows instead of being treated as a separate activity?
Thank you, Iqbal, for the question. And I would like to connect it to a couple of points which Abdul has already mentioned. The relevance. So we are in the time wherein there is a possibility that many of the established organizations have all the generations working under one roof, right? So relevance is really, really important. If the program is relevant to what they are doing on day-to-day basis, obviously it will create the inclination towards the learning behavior. Okay. And other than that, the accessibility that, okay, one is relevance, that, okay, somebody who has an experience of 3 decades or more would have another training requirements, and somebody who has just 2 years, 3 years of experience would have another requirement. So organizations have to have the right kind of content, right kind of training for them. Accessibility, whatever tools they have, whatever equipments they have, whether they are good enough to undergo that training, then it becomes important that the attention span is decreasing with every coming month, every coming year, because of the overload of information which Abdul has already mentioned about. So when we talk about attention span, of course, if the training is engaging, the attention stays. But if it is not engaging, the attention goes off in the first minute itself. It doesn't go even beyond. So that is required. So, and other than that, this habit is not natural to everybody. Learning habit is not natural to everybody. If it would have been natural, then it would have been a different case altogether. So here, this habit has to be inculcated in everybody. Okay, and this is not related to a particular generation or anything. It is real for everybody. This is a reality. So if the person is inclined towards learning, wonderful. There is nothing, you can actually go for, because if you learn, you grow. There is no other way. But if you are not inclined towards learning, the programs have to make this person habitual of learning. Now here, mandates come into the picture. And these mandates to remove time, and here, it has to be forced forced thing also, that, okay, you're starting your day, your first 5 minutes, first 10 minutes are going to be for learning. Okay. And this learning, once you complete, then you start your day. Okay. This is one way of inculcating or introducing the learning behavior into the people. Now, next is bifurcating the learning altogether. Now, I have mostly, find about myself involved into
the kind of trainings which needs hands-on. So you don't have just the theoretical understanding, but you have to execute it also. So here, when I talk about micro learning, that can be handled by the theoretical aspect. So of course, here I can reduce the time. I don't have to go for 2 months, 3 months, or the conventional way of the training, but I have to still decrease the time. How to decrease it? That whatever is the theoretical part, which is relevant for today's time, that can be considered by this aspect, the micro learning aspect, in small bits, um, uh, available for the learner as and when it is ready. But at the same time, where execution comes into the picture, I think that we are still away from that part where we can actually think of doing it in unconventional way. There are simulations coming into the picture, but not to an extent where you can actually simulate a medical procedure, okay, which has to be done into the clinic kind of environment, or aesthetic facility kind of environment. So these are the two aspects which I feel that we have to still bifurcate. And again, it is coming down to relevance only, that micro learning or hybrid learning or conventional learning, ultimately it has to be relevant to what work is given to a trainee or what work an employee has to do. That is what I would like to say, where we can include learning in day-to-day workflow of an organization.
Thank you so much. I feel training need identification becomes very important here when you have to actually decide that what kind of learning is required for a user. Because accordingly, you can customize the user's requirement is to learn, say, communication skills. Then you can give them something to learn on the communication skills. Maybe if it is time management, then you can give the relevant content to them. But if you are giving the entire bunch of content to them, then they may get confused and they may also don't find it relevant for them. So if we identify that, okay, this is the kind of training required for a user, then quickly we can do that. And if, for example, a lot of people are working remotely or they are gig workers these days, right? They may not require lengthy presentations or sessions. They may require maybe a quick video, right, of 2 minutes, or maybe a ready reckoner where they can actually learn the skills required for their work. So I feel TNI becomes very important. And yeah, so thank you so much for the answer. So our next section is related to designing high impact micro learning experiences. So when it comes to designing an experience, like we all follow the EDDI principles in L&D, right? So designing becomes very important when it comes to making a program, right? So my next question is related to this only to Abdul. So what makes micro learning truly effective beyond simply reducing the content length?
Yeah, Iqbal, as rightly pointed out by you, micro learning by definition seems to be that we are reducing the length of the content, and it's a bit-sized learning. Actually, micro learning is not that it is a small bits of learning being given to the learners. It's actually reducing that gap between learning and applying. So something which I can immediately apply at my workplace. Uh, to make it effective micro learning, it works on a 5R principle, and I think Dr. Rajni already spoke about one. Is it has to be relevant. It has to be relevant that it solves some of my business problem. Like for example, if I'm working on a machine and it has developed a fault and there's a QR code right on the machine, and I scan the QR code and I get the solution how to troubleshoot that particular problem. It's a micro learning. If I write in the workforce, I can't wait to attend a particular program. And so if it's relevant, I would go and learn it as a learner. I will not stop, and it's available to me as and when required. It should be available to me. It should be available to me based on my need. It can't be one size fits for all, like you mentioned, based on my need. So it should be right time given to me. So this is the second R. Third one is it should be role-based based on specific role that I am doing. It is not that it's not relevant to my role. So I as a learner will not be interested, and it will not be effective in bringing up my learning curve as well. The fourth R of the 5R principle is that it should be reinforced. It should be repetitive. And I think something that Dr. Rajini also mentioned, and in our organization also we follow it, that learning has to become ritual. So it has to be repetitive. I should be getting my learning reinforced. So bite-sized learning is easy to get reinforced, and it should be result-oriented. I should clearly know that if I go for this micro learning, the way I am learning it, it brings different outcomes. It leads to a change in the outcomes that as a learner I'll be interested, and if I am interested, I would the micro learning will become effective. So the focus of micro learning to be effective is if it focuses on the outcomes. Like for example, if I'm going to for a sales call, and in the sales call I have to negotiate with the customer, attending a 10 minutes learning program on negotiation may not attract me as a learner. How to ask those three questions? What would be the first three questions that I should ask in negotiation? And if I'm giving a micro learning on that, it would look more relevant to me and more effective, because that is where most of the people struggle. So this 5R principle applied well will make the micro learnings very, very effective. That's my answer.
Thank you so much. Because sometimes what happens that people confuse micro learning as that reducing the size of the video, or maybe just converting a PDF into a small video. But how effective and impactful it is to your users actually make your content relevant, right? Because if you're just reducing the length of the content, then you may miss certain important points which may be relevant to the user, right? It's not like you just reduce the length, or maybe there is a large PDF of 60 pages and you just convert it into a video, right? What is the relevance of that content to the user is more important, right? So my next question related to this only is for Dr. Rajani. So how do you design bite-sized learning experience that are engaging, relevant, and actionable?
So, there are two, three things which are really important to keep in mind when we have to design an engaging learning program. Because again, we have to make it for everybody. We have to look at the audience. What is the requirement of the audience? Now, obviously, here just making one learning program, like, one thing fits for all kind of thing doesn't work nowadays. It has to be customized. And if you give that, um, if you give that liberty to the trainee or to the learner, nothing like it. So that customization also is happening by the learner. You have provided as a learning solution everything which is either generic, good for everyone, or specific, good for a particular person related to the role. Okay, now this is one. So this automatically include the interest part of the learner into the whole activity of making a program. That is one. Second is uh, that learning can happen anywhere and everywhere. So not constricting it in a timeline. So you can do it only when you are in an office. You should be able to do it when you're on the go. Like we are living in metros, and obviously here the travel time itself is like too much. So if you are spending say 1 or 2 hours while traveling, yeah, this is a good time to finish off one training or two training programs altogether. If we talk about micro learning, means going ahead, there is a possibility we will be talking about nano learnings also. Today we are talking about micro learning. There may be a this one, time when we will talking about nano learning. So of course, small topics, single topic, accessible to the learner when they want to go through it, that makes a lot of difference. And then at the same time, rewards. So if you complete XYZ thing, the rewards are coming into the picture. Now, obviously, when we talk about these learnings, they are through some portals, learning solutions, right? So rewards which they get, though these are just to see, but they actually engage the person. They kind of increase the interest and inclination to go ahead. That today I have got this reward, let me go to another one. So it becomes encouraging. Here, the encouragement is by how the plan has been designed for the learner. The whole program is designed for the learner. So it is kind of, we are pushing the learner as a learning provider, that you go to XYZ stage and then you will keep on getting the rewards. So here, two things we are doing. We are making the person learn, we are rewarding. So obviously that encouragement is happening. And at the same time, the same person will encourage other people also to get into the similar habit. And if we talk about the design specifically, now we know that, few people, they learn through listening and through videos. So different type of learners we have. So in the same way, we can have the learning modules also in a different ways. So video, of course, have the maximum impact, but at the same time, gamification of the same learning program, it helps us. Simulation helps us to make the learner learn faster. Okay, that is there. And if we add certifications, now here I'm going towards the professional way of getting into learning and completing it. So if we get into the certification of a particular learning program, okay, that adds on to your rewards. So it is like not only the reward, you're actually providing something to the learner to showcase that this is what I have done, maybe a score. So these are a couple of things we actually can do to keep the person engaged, to keep the learner engaged to a learning solution, to the to learning behavior. So that is there. Yes, thank you so much.
Wonderful. I think that covers the entire smart learning solution because I feel gamification makes a big difference in terms of getting the engagement. And I feel it also helps you to make your content more interactive, so that people interact with the modules or whatever presentations that you have on the platforms for the micro learning. If you make the content engaging, where maybe after 30 seconds or 1 minute of learning you can quickly ask a question to the user, or maybe just give them a puzzle to resolve, and then they move to the next section, right? It motivates them. And then when you add a reward part to that, when you add some pointers or some value to that, and if they can redeem it as a certificate or any other reward, it keeps them motivated to the learning. So I feel it helps you getting more engagement on your micro learning platform as well. So thank you so much. And since we are talking about the platforms and technology, so our next section is related to that only. So the next section is technology and platform enabling flow of work learning. So as we all know that AI has evolved a lot of opportunities in the past few years, and though it is ever evolving, and every few months or days we are getting to learn new software, right? Maybe 2 years ago we were talking about chat GPTs, and then we started talking about generative AI. Now everybody is talking about agentic AI, right? So tech has been a great support in terms of providing us better learning experiences. However, when it comes to effectiveness, a lot of other factors are involved in that. So in this section, my first question to Abdul is that what role do AI, mobile learning platforms, and digital ecosystems play in enabling just-in-time learning?
Sure. Thanks for that question. In fact, if we see like any other change, and the, the learning ecosystem has also gone through a lot of change. If we see learning 1.0 was more classroom learning. So everybody will go off their work, come to a classroom, attend in person, and the trainer will deliver the session. There will be assessments. Everything will happen in the classroom. Learning will happen in the classroom. People will travel for learning. Right? This was the kind of way of learning available to us some time back. Then we moved to learning 2.0, which was e-learning, and it became very prominent during COVID era. And people started using MS Teams and Zooms and WebEx and all those platforms, and also the digital learning platforms started getting prominence, and people started learning through e-learning. Then learning 3.0 was more mobile. Now everything is available on mobile. Mobile is used for every single purpose, right from watching different Netflix or web series to also using mobile for learning. So mobile learning became very, very prominent and very popular in learning 3.0. Learning 4.0 is going to be AI. AI will ensure that what kind of learning is required by me, and it will tell me and guide me, okay, the kind of profile that I handle, the work that I handle, what kind of learning do I need. So AI will shift learning from pull based model that pull the learner to the classroom to a predictive model. Now, if I do this course, what impact it can bring, and why should I be attending this course, or if I am at a X level of performance, which programs are more relevant to me. That predictive and analytical data that AI will throw will help the learners to have consume the relevant piece of learning, not get overloaded with learning. Right? So AI is going to lead this change. AI is going to make learners learn better and spend less time on learning and get maximum outcome or impact through this. So I think AI and technology has a lot of role to play. We are already in learning 4.0. AI is going to lead this and help learners learn better, and the companies to provide better learning ecosystem to learners. So that is my thought. So AI is really going to change the way we used to learn.
Wow, thank you so much, Abdul, and also telling us about different levels of learning, the evolution of learning from 1 to 4. If we look back 22 years ago when I started my career, so that time there was no LMS. I remember we used to develop LMS in Excel.
Yeah,
So
correct.
you link Excel sheets, and that used to be amazing thing in the organization, that you link different Excel sheets for different knowledge requirements, and that is how technology has evolved. And especially in the past few years after COVID, a lot of new things have been introduced, and learning is ever evolving, and now it's become lifelong requirement for all the users.
Yeah.
So my next question to Dr. Rajani. So how can organizations integrate learning into collaboration tools and day-to-day work platforms effectively?
Uh, Again, 2, 3 points which I can actually put my finger on. One is collaboration has to happen with the learning solution which is simple. So because if it is simple, everyone will use it. At least we can assume that everyone will use it. If not, uh, that is truth. Second is one place wherein the complete library is there in a way. So if you have to learn something, you need not have to look at anything else. You have to just go to that one portal, and you have to, like, how we have now AI, Abdul has talked about now. Earlier than that, there was a Google search engine. Okay, so you type and you get it. So this kind of simplicity, that what you want to search, what you want to look at, what you want to refer, your learning solution should be able to provide you that. Because if that is there, the learner will come again and again for reference, if not for learning, for reference, what they want to go through. That is one. Second is upgradation. Abdul has talked about AI moving ahead already at 4.0, right? So this upgradation is necessary. We cannot be having a learning solution which is still working in a conventional method when we are talking, on the other hand, about AI. So there has to be upgradation. And this upgradation is necessary. Now, every 1 month or 2 months after, you have something more to add on. So this addition is necessary. If this kind of learning solution platform we can provide to the organization, to the learners, then obviously this is the apt thing. This is the ideal kind of collaboration, wherein the habit which we want to inculcate in everybody, the possibility is more we will be able to do that. And the learning will not stop. It will be continuous learning for everyone. Obviously, few people will learn just for 10%, few will have 90% of learning inclination, but it will be there. So that is there. So this upgradation will play a major part in keeping this collaboration of learning platforms with the learner intact for a longer period of time. So one, simple learning platform. Second is whatever is required for an organization that a learner should learn should be there on that particular platform. No 2, 3 platforms should be there. And third, the upgradation. I think these three things, if they are there, then learning will go ahead. It will be a continuous factor for everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Rajani Gaur. So, as you rightly said, that there has to be an integration of platforms because in the past few years, we have seen that because of multiple reasons, whether it is our learning requirement or tech evolution, a lot of new platforms have been introduced. And as per our requirement, sometimes we do trainings in offline classroom, sometimes we do trainings on, uh, you know, Zoom or maybe using Teams calls, right? And sometimes the training can be interactive as well with the help of simply adding a course to somebody's, LMS, assigning a course to them, right? And then also it comes for evaluation, right? You have to evaluate the learning as well. Then gamification is there. So I think a lot of requirements are there, and we have a lot of platforms as well. So, for example, sometimes people buy licenses from all the new edtech platforms like whether it is Coursera or ZX or LinkedIn, right? So there are multiple platforms. So I feel the new age platforms for learning like LXPs can help us integrating all the tools on a single platform where user can just log on to one platform and we can customize their learning experience as per their requirement. So thank you so much
True.
for answering the question. Just added on to your answer.
Thank you so much.
So moving to the final section of our discussion. So as we discussed earlier that whether AI has helped us in making the content very easily, right? It's very easy these days to build content, design different programs. But when it comes to effectiveness and whether how clear is the context in your content and how is it serving the requirement of the users. So that is where the major challenge lies. Because when it comes to ROI, everybody would ask you that how effective and impactful is your solution, right? So my next question is to you, Abdul. How can organizations ensure employees apply micro-learning insights directly into their workplace performance?
Yeah, thanks, Iqbal. So if we look at initial days of LMS being introduced or learnings which were being delivered to the learners, the primary objective of the all the learning teams was to get attendance. People should attend it. How many have completed? After some time, this lost its relevance because it was not solving for what the entire learning ecosystem or learning programs are designed. They were actually designed with an objective of leading to a change behavior. There's where the change, if we want, the organizations want that the micro learning should be applied by the learners. It should be having a relevance to the role. So that's why many of the organizations today follow the CAP model. Very, very simple, easy to follow is create content, right? And create content in a way that people are able to apply it, create, apply, and then prove the impact that by attending this program or learning program, what will change? What is the results you can expect? And this result can be also in the form of a reward that Dr. Rajni mentioned some time back. It can be in terms of completion of a certification program. You will be certified on this. It can be business outcome. It can be change of behavior. It can be experience. It can be anything, unless that clearly impact is not established. That what impact this program will clear, people will not apply it. So the CAP model has its relevance today also, because the learning has moved from just attendance to application. People want to learn only that much that kind of a skill set or a knowledge which they are able to apply, and that has relevance to them. That will help them in creating an impact or outcomes. So CAP model talks about you create content, you make the learners apply it and tell them how they can apply it, and it should prove that there is an impact post this session. So those organizations which follow the CAP model are able to help learners apply it, and that is created the way the learning programs today are designed like that.
Thank you so much for making us and our users aware about the CAP model. So that was really informative. So now the final questions for today's discussion is for Dr. Rajani. So when it comes to ensuring the effectiveness, I think there should be a measure as well, right? How to measure. So the next question is, how do you measure whether microlearning is creating real behavioral change and business impact? So if you can just throw some light on it.
Yes. 2 points to look at, qualitative and quantitative. Okay. Now, where quantitative analysis is concerned about the microlearning impact, it can be done through the data analysis, that how many learners have actually visited the learning portal. Okay. And this has to be measured at a frequent duration. So maybe on weekly basis, maybe on 15 days basis, because then we can actually assess that what is happening. Because if you have hundreds of modules on a learning portal of various kinds, this is not only giving us an understanding that who is coming and how many people are coming, how many learners are learning, but it will also show us that what all modules are more popular. It will also highlight that the why behind these modules being popular, why learners are coming back and visiting and going through these modules, this kind of content that is also there, and this will make the understanding for making the learning portal better. Because if you know that X number of people are coming back to the learning portal for visiting a particular set of learning modules, and if we know the why, then that particular topic can be enriched further. And if it has a business impact or if it has a customer experience impact, it's like added value. Okay, from all the aspects. So that is from the quantitative perspective. Now, if we have to look at from the qualitative perspective, again, means there is a connection with the numbers here as well. Because always when we talk about that, this is now here, I would like to point what Abdul has mentioned, the gap analysis. Okay, now gap analysis, if we have done the gap analysis, it actually brings us to the point that okay, where what has to be done. Now gap itself is the input, is the starting line. So if that gap is understood as a starting line, obviously after the learning the person will go to the end point or somewhere intermittent, which will be at a higher point. The person will of course rise after learning to a particular point. So this movement from the gap till where we can see the improvement is the qualitative analysis of the learning. So in this way, the measurement or the effectiveness of the learning can be checked. However, this has to be checked more frequently. What happens here in most of the cases that even if we have done the gap analysis, okay, how much of the progress has been done because of the learning, that measurement goes off. We missed measuring that. Now, because we have missed measuring that, we are, I mean, that makes us unable to showcase that where the movement has happened. Okay, and mainly it happens related to the qualitative impact, because if we talk about sales, then sales numbers showcase it. But if we talk about customer experience, if we talk about say increasing walk-ins, increasing footfalls and conversion. Okay, so that is also number related. But where this is more related with the behavior, until unless it is measured on this way that okay, before the program, the person was not able to engage the customer during whatever treatment or whatever service they were doing, and post that they were able to be with them, they were able to talk with them, they were able to build the rapport with them, and references were coming. This is behavioral, this is more behavioral, less number. Here measuring the impact becomes more difficult. Quantitative easier, behavioral difficult. But can we measure the impact? We can definitely measure the impact with aggressive analysis of the data with various pointers.
Thank you so much. So just wanted to know that how can we actually measure the real behavioral change and business impact? If you can also add on to that as well. How can we
And
measure the behavior change? And maybe if there is a, like you rightly said, if there is a sales target given to somebody, so how can we
mhm.
actually measure that? That what is the impact on business overall?
I think there is a very beautiful scale which almost everyone is looking at nowadays. That is NPS. So if we look at NPS, if we look at the reviews which are directly given by the customers, that can be considered. So because this is NPS and Google review is very near to how we can showcase in a number form that the behavior has changed. And here behavior is of the learner towards the customer. This customer could be anybody in any organization. Yeah. So that is the best way of measuring it at the moment.
Thank you so much for the answer. And that concludes our conversation today. I really enjoyed interacting with both of you, Dr. Rajani and Abdul. And
Thank you
I'm
so much.
sure that our users would have gained a lot of insights related to micro learning and its impact and effectiveness. So thank you so much, both of you. And over to you now, Kiran.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Iqbal. I would like to invite any questions from the audience. Since nobody has any questions, but I do have one small question. If, I mean, I'll be okay. Anyone answering it? Okay. My question was like when we were discussing this micro learning Okay, there is somebody who has put, let's take that first. Whenever possible, you all can reply on that. My question was when we are talking about involving micro learning in our learning and development experiences or learning and development, you know, initiatives that we are taking up. How do you think AI, that which is actually a buzzword which is going on today, would impact micro learning? Or, I mean, how is it that both can complement each other rather than AI supplementing, as is the buzz everywhere? So, is there a way that AI and micro learning can complement each other and, rather have a coexistence in the L&D space? So, this was my
Yeah,
question. I'm okay. That can be taken
I,
up now or later.
I would make one attempt, and maybe Dr. Rajni can give the expert view. And see, whatever we consume has to have relevance, and AI will
Hmm.
help me to get the relevant information passed on to me. And AI can at the back end work on all the input and output parameters which are connected to my job role, and based on that predict what this person needs to consume in terms of learning to become better at where I am. So both will coexist. The learning platforms and AI will coexist and will help learners learn better. And when we say micro learnings have to be very, very specific and sharp,
Hmm.
relevant,
Yes.
and should help users solve real business problems. And those business problem solutions, AI can help us design those solutions better. Like, for example, the video platforms that are available today. Maybe there's a 5-minute video which talks about a particular business solution, right? But like it's a sales call, and in sales call there are different elements. How do I open the sales call? How do I build a rapport with the customer? How do I close this call? How do I handle the customer's questions or objections? It has different sections. Now, for me, AI predicts that you know what, you have a problem in closing the call. So from that video, the AI will pick only that piece of video which talks about how do you effectively close a call. I don't need to go through entire 5 minutes of learning. I may have those 35, 40 seconds or 70 seconds which are relevant to me, and you will pick and give to me. So I save on time, I get more relevant information, and that is where AI will help.
So just adding on, yeah, just adding on. So I feel whether it is an offline trainer or an AI trainer, right? I feel to get the right answer, you need to ask right questions. So that technique still lies with the learner only, and for that we need to ensure that we stay curious about things, right? And also we should have a right context to present, whether it is a human trainer or AI trainer, right? If you ask wrong question, irrelevant question, or incomplete questions to AI, then the answer may also not be the right one. It's like garbage in and garbage out, right? So you should have a proper context for asking a question to the AI, as if you are talking to a trainer as well. You need to give a proper background, what exactly has to be learned, right? And what are the things you want to learn. As Abdul rightly said that when it is sales call, right, there are multiple levels for different answering the queries of customers, right? So that is where the context becomes very important. So otherwise, definitely AI is one of the micro learning tool only, right? It can answer your questions quickly, right? Whatever comes to your mind, you can quickly ask the AI for clarification. But again, I would say that AI is what is already been fed into a software, right? So still, it would require validation. So that is why users should not 100% rely on what AI is saying. We should always do a proper validation of the content as well. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so Dr. Rajni, do you have anything to add, or do we take up the next question?
We can take the next question. Thank you so much.
So next question is from Archana Vijayan. Her question is, any tools that one could recommend for soft skills achievements?
I can talk about the tool that we are using in our organization. So Archana, we are using a tool which helps the user to assess for us as a learning team. We are able to assess whether the user or the learner is able to apply the learning or not. So we are able to measure the skills. Like for example, if I have trained, say, a learner on negotiation skills, I give a simulation through AI where AI acts as a customer or a person, and I have a conversation with AI and apply my learning during this conversation. And this tool gives me a feedback. How have I done during this conversation? What could I have done better? Where I have done very well? And gives me a score and helps me to understand whether I am, how proficient I am on this skill. So these tools are available. I'm sure there are many more other tools also available. We are already applying this tool for our sales team in our organization. So that's why I know about it.
That's great. So I think there is one tool called virtual speech, which is easily available online for enhancing the soft skills. So yeah, if specifically you want to know about a tool. And for language enhancement, I think there is a very common app these days. Everybody uses Duolingo. So these applications have also, helped a lot of users in enhancing their communication skills.
Measuring soft skill through a tool at the moment is difficult, because the same thing I was talking about, that if you measure, if you are able to measure quantitatively, then effectiveness of the learning can be, I mean, it is easy to accept by everybody, right? But if we are talking about behavioral skill, now soft skill uh, and behavioral skill, they are the kind of skill wherein making them quantitative is pretty difficult. So here, we can come very near to, okay, this is what the progress is, this is how we can measure it. But how we can um, add it, or how we can actually measure it with the help of the tool, that is, I mean, uh, at the moment, I have not come across that kind of tool. Maybe if Abdul and Iqbal can share if they have any tool in mind to talk about
No,
this aspect.
I spoke about the one which we are using in our organization, and it's very, very
Okay.
popular now. And we have a sales team which is 6,000 plus using this tool very effectively. And we are able to measure the proficiency levels which our team is able to apply a particular learning. So we are using this.
Thank you,
Thank you
Abdul.
so Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope, Archana, you got your answer. So thank you so much. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Iqbal. Thank you, Rajni. Thank you, Abdul, for sharing your invaluable insights and expertise today. We are really enriched. I mean, your contributions have truly enriched our understanding about how microlearning is shaping our learning experience and how it can be best used now and in the coming times. I would also like to extend my gratitude to our audience for joining us and participating in this important discussion. Thanks a lot. So, as we conclude, I hope everyone takes away new ideas and strategies to implement. Thank you once again to our speakers, moderator, and all of you who attended today. Stay connected, stay innovative, and let's continue to push the boundaries of learning and development. Have a great evening and an equally great weekend. We look forward to seeing you in our next event. Bye bye.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you
Thanks.
so
Take care.
much.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.
Thank you.